Alright, this will be my review on the 1-to-1 scale knockoff of the MPG-17. This thing is probably done by Blog Mama, but who knows. It is RT-06 Genesris. It's a Genesris, however you're supposed to pronounce that. The figure's got some changes from the original, which I'm sure other reviewers will have pointed this out by now. The little flaps in the back fold back. It's got a second head that has an LED in it. It's got an LED within the weapon, and it's also got a voice box and improved ratchets in the legs, and some silver trim along the windows. My figure, I've also got the Toy Hacks sticker pack on it with the little added flares here and there. Yes, I am aware that I don't technically have it transformed properly. I actually like having these gas tanks out rather than the folded inside. I think it adds a little bit more definition to the figure. Some of the changes that I did with the stickers, in case anyone cares, I added a little bit on the knees, a little bit on the toes, did a couple pieces on these sides right here, added some pieces in here, left off a few pieces that I didn't like, specifically on the crotch area. I actually like these better as they are. And I'm going to do a comparison between this and the MP-10 knockoff that I have. I do not have the official of the MPG-17 here, and I do not have an MP-44. So I will be doing a comparison with the MP-10, and it's the trailer intended for the MP-10. I've also done some upgrades of my own to add to this that I will be showing off as well. I do not have the official to do a comparison on, but I will try and point out what I can on him. I have the default head with the light piping on him. I actually like the way the light piping is done on this figure. It works really well with even just a little bit of light over him. Not the greatest right now with this big ring light shining outward. The LED inside the other head, it does a blue, a red, and then a flashing blue. It's okay. And by the way, the battery for that is a CR927, also the same battery that is inside the gun. The gun does the exact same, it has the exact same LED. It does the red, it does a blue, and then it does a blue flashing, which doesn't make much sense to me for a gun, but you know, I assume that was done because it was cheaper. He does have a voice box in the back, which is a bit ridiculous. It has something like 3 lines that are Peter Cullen's voice from various shows and movies, and then it's got another couple, 3 or 4 lines that are done in Chinese with a completely different tone and inflection into it. It just clashes horribly in my opinion. I didn't even bother putting a battery in that to see if it worked because I'll never use it. The battery for that one, I am told on the forum, is a CR2032. That one, I do know from looking at the forum and from what I saw on it that the way you change that battery is you actually have to undo screws on the inside of the plate. Let's see if I can, you know, that's going to be a bit, yeah, I can't pop that off without a little more effort. Anyway, it's on the inside of here. The speaker's actually behind the sticker, and you access the screws from the corners on the inside, and then you can pull it out and put the battery in, apparently. As I said, I haven't done that because I just don't care. He does come with all the same accessories plus some. This one actually has articulated fingers that come on it, and it also comes with replicas of the original, which are not bad. It's that whole thing where it's got the bottom 3 fingers combined together, and the thumb doesn't move at all. So it's not bad, but it definitely could be better. These take a little bit more finagling to get them in place just right to fold them in. You basically have to have them in a fist like that. Well, or I could just say like that, considering that just came out as it was. So if you have it something like this, it's not going to fold in properly. You've got to tuck the fingers into the palm and then have the thumb on the outside of them. It came with his Energon axe from the cartoon, which goes onto a peg that's on the back side, just like in the official. So when you fold it around, get that peg over. You just stick it on, and he's got that. For some reason that is beyond my understanding, they did not do the same thing with the wrist blades. These, you have to actually fold them, and then they go into the bottom of the hand, which makes absolutely no sense to me at all, and nor anyone else that I've seen comment about it on the forums and stuff, when they could have easily just made a little hole in it and just had it peg right in there. So here we'll get into my my little upgrade kit that I've made. Get the right one here. I made one of these for each of the blades. And of course I picked up the wrong one. So it is a silver block, and let me actually get it on the correct blade for that hand. So I put it in, fold it, and then I can just stick it on. It's not as good as I would like. It doesn't center it, but with this folded piece right here, there's not a whole lot I can do about that. I may actually end up cutting off the bottom pegs of these so that it's a little more streamlined on the bottom. I may just leave it alone, I don't know. But I did one for each. So there's that. I forgot to bring them over here, but he also came with a little plastic weapon rack. Two, technically. One, or he came with a plastic weapon rack and then a plastic piece to be able to put him on a mount. I don't have those in front of me. I completely forgot they even existed. The weapon rack also lets you mount his cannon on his shoulder, but it's obnoxious. So another upgrade kit that I had done was I just made a couple little round pieces so that you can just put it into that hole right there, turn it, and you can put the gun in, and you can tilt it or turn it however you want. And then I decided to make a second hole on it on the opposite side so that you could do it with the magazine to have it sitting further back. Same thing. You can tilt it, turn it. And they do also double to hold the swords if you really wanted to. So you could put two of them on and then stick the swords on there. That's that. A little shameless plug my own 3D modeling skills, making oh so difficult cylinders and rectangles. Oh, let's see, what else is there to talk about? He did also come with this axe, which I know comes from another iteration. I don't recall which off the top of my head, because it's not something I'm personally very familiar with. Maybe one of the War for Cybertron games, or one of the cartoons that I haven't seen or haven't seen lately. But it's a full-on axe that doubles as a shield, and of course the toy hex stickers on it. And that pretty much covers him by himself in robot mode. All right, I'm going to do a basic comparison between him and the MP-10. I do not have the MP-44 or whatever the first one was. I guess MP-1, MP-2. I can't remember which one it was. And I do not have the official of the MPG-17. I just have this knockoff. They're almost the same size, height. The MPG is slightly taller. He's 25 centimeters tall if you measure to the tips of his little antenna things. The MP-10 at least this particular version, which is definitely a knockoff, is a little bit more streamlined, in my opinion. And I liked the way that this was done better than what was done on there, but this figure has grown on me more and more. This figure is very tight, very solid. This thing I had thought was tight and solid before I got this one, and now I see it as kind of a floppy mess. Especially his head. Like, his head does not want to stay at all, whereas everything on this one is pretty tight and stays where it needs to go. He's got a lot of ratchets, so almost everything's ratchets. Except for his obnoxiously large feet. Those things are massive and they do not have ratchets, but pretty much everything else does. My understanding is that the official has less teeth in the ratchets, so you can't like do little poses like that. He ends up being more like that apparently, but as stated, I don't have that one, so I can't really compare that. Whereas the MP-10, they're just friction. They're very tight, but they're friction. And then those knees are ratchets. This is all friction. You do get a little bit more posability in certain ways. So, for example, if I wanted him to be pointing off to the side, I can do that. But in order to do it with the MP-10, I have to swivel the entire arm around to his back, pretty much, which makes it look a little strange. I also like that they tinted the windows. I think I said that. I always hated that I could see the chrome bumper through the windows on the MP-10. I actually had thought about spray painting it black on the inside at one point. Trying to think of what else to compare between the two. If it's not obvious, I have the Toy Hack sticker pack on this one, and I have upgraded articulated fingers on him as well, which are very, very floppy and finicky. And you have to get them exactly right to be able to put his fists back into place. Yeah, I don't really know what else to compare between the robots themselves. The only weapons that the MP-10 came with were his Energon axe, which is significantly larger than the MPG-17's. And does not fit very well onto the upgraded hands, by the way. And his cannon, which I always love that it stores in his back, but at the same time, it doesn't look as good when it's actually out and ready to go. So you compare the two. And obviously there's a sticker pack on this one, but it just looks better overall, in my opinion. And that is the comparison of the two of them for everything I can think of right at the moment. I'm going to put a couple of Masterpiece figures next to them just for comparison. Here is my custom G2 and G1 mixture of Masterpiece. What is the MP-12G Sideswipe? I don't have any of his accessories right at the moment because I actually am storing them or displaying them as vehicles, so sorry for it not looking as flashy. And here is Bumblebee MP-21G. This is official. That's two knockoffs that have been kit bashed together. And then I also have, just for another comparison, this is ModFan's AL01S roller with my custom stickers on that. And I will do all of those as vehicle modes together. And I'm also going to show the MP-10 trailer on the MP-10 and then on the MPG-17, including a adapter that I made to make it look a little bit better on the MPG-17, just because I think some people will appreciate this. There's the transparent Optimus that came with the Transformation Havoc Stunticon Minosaur set. This was a model kit. It's the only other G1 Optimus that I have. I just thought that was funny. All right, here they are in truck modes next to each other. The MP-10 is definitely a lot floppier than the MPG-17, or at least this knockoff version. The issues that I've always had with the MP-10 is things like the bumper here does not like to stay in place, the slightest bit of movement, and it just pops down just like that. I also have issues with, I just forgot what it was, but there's other pieces that just don't like to really stay the way they're supposed to, and it takes finagling to get it to stay together, and the slightest bit of movement, it starts just kind of coming apart on its own. I always kind of just dismissed it before, but it is what it is. The MPG is a lot more solid. I forgot to get the mirrors out. The MPG is more solid. It's got a little bit more realistic features to it, I think. Looks a little bit better. I'm actually surprised that Toy Hacks didn't put a license plate on it like they did with the MP-10. They could have put it in this spot instead of this silver one, or in addition, but whatever. It looks like, yeah, the MPG-17 is a tiny bit taller, but at the same time has a more of a straight profile, whereas the MP-10 has this section right here which almost looks like an air dam of some kind. The mirrors on the MP-10 fold inward, whereas the MPG are just part of the side of the truck, part of the arm. When you look at it from the side, let's try opposite. The MP-10 has a much smaller looking door section, whereas the MPG is a huge door. I'll be honest, for the longest time, I didn't even realize that this was actually supposed to look like a door. I thought it was just windows and then the side of the truck. So it wasn't until I got the MPG-17 that I even realized that this was actually supposed to look like a door in the first place. It is what it is. The big thing that I think the MP-10 has over the MPG-17 by a considerable amount is that the legs collapse, they're telescoping, and they collapse into the figure, giving it a shorter profile for the tail section of it, and the feet are smaller, so they fold up and are nice and straight, whereas the MPG just has these obnoxiously long legs with outrageously huge feet. Also, the other thing that I think that the MP-10 is better is the mount for the trailer is better. It's positioned in a good spot and it's nice and tight. When I put my trailer on here, I can actually pick up the trailer and it picks up the whole figure with it. Now, I don't do that, I put my hand under it and carry it around, but it can. Whereas the MPG is just this piece that easily comes off and on, and you can turn it. I need both hands. You can turn it so that you can adjust how it sits a little bit, but even that's not that great. The adapter that came with it, which I forgot to include this in my earlier thing, this is the MP-10 trailer adapter. I'm guessing the MP-44 trailer just automatically has a connection like that. So this is the adapter that they sent with it. The problem I have with it is that it puts the trailer comically far back. So I'm going to do comparisons here real quick. Get my trailer. So when I put the trailer on the MP-10, lighting isn't great at this angle, so bear with me a second. It is a bit of a pain to get it on there in the first place, but push it real hard. And oh yeah, this is the other part that comes with this all the time, is the fuel cans. Forgot about that. So, but it's nice and solid on there. Like I said, I can pick up the whole thing like that, and it's at a reasonable distance from there. Maybe a tiny bit too close to the cab, but I think it works well, and you can turn it within a reasonable amount. I think that works perfectly fine. With the MPG, take him back off. I'm just going to put him off to the side. So with the adapter that they sent, which is pretty loose, like it just slides in and off on there pretty easily. It's keyed, so you have to do it a certain way. But at the same time, you can turn this. So like right now, with the way that's sitting, I'll have to turn this that way. And then lining it up is a little bit of a pain, but it's not too terrible. And it's really tight on the truck side, but it's very loose on the trailer side. So that to me is a bit ridiculous of a gap. Now you can adjust it slightly if you take that out and you turn the whole thing the other way, and then you put this back on. And honestly, I couldn't even tell you just from looking at it right at the moment whether that moved it forward or back. I think it actually keeps it more or less at the same distance, which is really weird to me. But I didn't like that, so I just took this design, if I can get it off now. Come on. And I just redid it, and all I basically did was just reposition the peg so it was a little bit closer, and it's also a bit tighter. So I'll put it on here, and I actually just leave it on the trailer because it doesn't go anywhere. And then I line that up, and this part takes a little bit of force, but that looks significantly better to me as far as distance for the truck, and it clears. I could have had it a little bit closer if they wouldn't have had these feet, so the legs so long and these feet so big. As it is, it just barely clears right there. I actually had to go through 5 iterations of this because I kept smacking into that. So that's the difference between the two of them with the MP-10 trailer, and then I will do the vehicle comparisons with the Bumblebee and the Sideswipe. I'll just put the MP-10 right there. We got Sideswipe, Bumblebee, and Roller, which you can't see that, sorry. Now this roller is a little bit bigger than the one that actually comes in the trailer, but this is transformable and it's like much more solid. Yeah, but it does still fit in there, so it works. But that is the MPG-17. I can't really think of anything else to add to it, so I'm gonna just end the video, and thank you for watching.